Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to the Thriving Adoptees show. Today, I am joined by the lovely Daniela Manucci, one of my most favorite people in the world, a fellow adoptee. And we're doing a series of these shows looking at the Thrive acronym. So we're talking about thriving adoptees, and we're going to do a couple of episodes for each of the letters of the Thrive model. So T stands for trauma, and we're talking about trauma today. And today it's going to be about Daniela leading on this, asking me some questions, and then when we do the next session, we're going to flip it around. I'm going to ask her for her take on trauma. So great to see you, Daniela, and really looking forward to today.
Yeah, me too. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. So let's dive in. So Simon, some of the questions that come up, let's go in deep, right? Because that's how we get to understand what this is all about and really start helping people find a way out, find solutions. So let's go to your personal meaning of what trauma is for you, and then if you could lead into your personal experience.
So trauma for me is an extreme, it's a really extreme feeling. It's a feeling of dread. It's a feeling deep in the pit of my it's like dread in my stomach. We've got loads of nerve endings in our stomach, and so we feel a lot in there. So it's trauma. It's really dark. It's really negative. A lot of mine has been anger. I felt a lot of anger. So it's a whole load of disgusting, bad feelings, all wrapped into one disgusting melange or mixture of yuckiness, and it's pretty scary.
Wow. Sounds like a great description of how we actually feel when we're not afraid to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And what led to those sensations and feelings? What was your experience that brought all that up in you?
Well, it didn't happen to me till I was 40. So the adoption trauma didn't happen. I spent a lot of my time in my 30s very caught up in my business. So these feelings of dread and anger and not good enough, not good enough it was a big theme for me. I couldn't get the business to do what I wanted to do. My whole self-esteem was wrapped up in my business. So business was my issue in my 30s, right? My adoption never, it had never been a thing. Adoption trauma had never reared its ugly head until I hit 40, and that's when I found out that my teddy bear, this fella, was from my birth mother. And the first time I heard that, I thought,
Si, can you fix your mic because you've gone low?
Okay.
Something happened when you got up.
Okay, is that better?
Okay. Yeah.
Just a bit, got a bit too far away from the screen. Okay. So yeah, this is quite specific, because the first time I discovered this, right, I thought, that's curious. That's interesting that I wasn't told that. I've been told I've been adopted really young, so it's interesting they didn't tell me about the teddy bear. So there was no trauma there at all. Yeah, there was just curiosity. And then I was talking to somebody about it, and the frame for the content, the frame for that conversation was anger, my anger. And the anger came through, this adoption trauma came through like a steam train My birth mother didn't love me enough to keep me, and she gave me this effing consolation prize. So at that, I'd never thought those thoughts before. I'd never felt that extreme anger and extreme pain and extreme fear and anger and feelings of rejection. I'd never felt that way before. So it came as like a bolt out of the blue to me. And yeah, so that's how it was. And then what I did was so most people haven't had that. Most adoptees have had those feelings, a lot of those feelings, for a lot longer, from a lot earlier age than me. And therefore, I think if we are kind of used to something, then we kind of, it's harder to shake. It's harder to shake this stuff the more we kind of in the habit of believing this stuff. So
there was a tale because you found out as a young boy that you were adopted, and then it was kind of left there. It was just like this intellectual concept, if you will. And then, when was the teddy bear given to you? When were you told that this was from your biological mother?
When I was 40.
When you were 40, you found out. Okay. And so that's when that anger started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd felt not good enough at business. And now I had a much deeper reason to feel not good enough, because I was given away. I was given away like a piece of, in my head, I was given away like a piece of trash.
Wow. Would you mind if we dive into that a bit? What that felt like, what that meant for you? Because, and I want to draw attention, when we create these meanings, right? Like, I felt like a piece of trash. I was tossed away like a piece of trash. That's big. I mean, that's a big belief.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what happened? What did you begin noticing happened when you started believing that you were tossed away like trash?
Yeah. Well, I guess I felt the pain that I felt in that moment. It hasn't been as painful since then. That moment, that outburst when I was talking to that lady, Sarah, about this stuff. It hasn't. She kind of helped me out of the hole. She said, "Well, I'm a mother, Simon. I don't think it probably wasn't like that." So I kind of I bounced back, but from that hole, I wasn't. But I continued to kind of have that low level feeling, and now I had a really good reason. I had a really good reason. So it was almost like it was there was an eruption of the volcano, and then the eruption died down, but there was still lots and lots of smoke coming out the top of the volcano, and we were imminent. It was another eruption was imminent for years and years and years.
And so what did you notice was happening with holding on to that belief? Like, did you notice that there were consequences, that there was like this forward movement within you that created consequences in your life? Because now you had a reason. If you have a belief that you're trash, then that gives good reason. Oh, no wonder why my business is horrible. No wonder why I can't get my business going, because That's the proof now. You see, it's interesting how beliefs then go back and reconfirm why certain things have happened and why they and here's the thing that's really important for the audience to understand is that we make up, we believe things and then we attach meaning to them. So if you're trash because you've been thrown away and not even loved by your own mother, your biological mother gives you away to strangers and you come up with a belief.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Funny enough, as we're discussing this, what's become clear to me is that became, getting rid of that feeling became my overriding concern. Yeah. So what I didn't do was sit in the lounge, slumped on the sofa, watching telly for days and weeks on end. I went out, and this feeling was so bad. I had to sort it. I had to find it. It was a driving force in my life to overcome that, and to find happiness. Because essentially, business success for me was pretty elusive for a long time, and when it came, it didn't make me happy. And also around that time, I found out about the teddy bear, and I thought, well, adoption hasn't making me unhappy. So I'm painting big pictures here, big simplifications. So my quest was, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to fix this? And how am I going to come through the other side? That was the motivating force for me to change. And
what did you find out? What happened in that journey?
Wow. That's 11 years of journey. 11 years of journey to sum up. Well,
tell me how you took the trash metaphor so that we can simplify it for everyone.
Yeah. So what I discovered underneath the trash is a diamond. So, and that's not just me, that's everybody on this planet.
Yeah. And tell me what that diamond is. What's your sense of that?
The diamond is the perfection of the human spirit. Is it human spirit? It's just spirit. It's the perfection of who we truly are. So imagine a white wall made out of brick that's just been, a brick wall. It's brand new. It's been painted white, and it's pristine. There's nothing on it. That's the kind of the blank, unconditioned perfection. I'm jumping between metaphors here. That's what the diamond and the perfectly whitewashed brick wall are the same thing. They are pristine, and they are untouched. And then
innocent, right? Innocent. That's the word that comes in.
Innocent, yeah. And then what happens is we go through life. So we go to school, and people tell us that we don't stack up, that we're not good enough. So we're not good enough at maths, or we're not good enough at, or for me, I had buck teeth. I'm not good enough. Not good enough in some respects. So I wasn't good enough at scouts. So I'm not a practical guy. So I made loads of mistakes on the scout camp, right? So what happens? Go back to the brick wall, right? What happens is people, that's us. That's who we truly are. And people start writing graffiti on the wall saying that we are worthless, or we're not good enough, or that we're a worthless piece of trash, right? And then we start, because we haven't made the football team, because we haven't made the choir, because we've been dropped from the rugby team like I was, or, and we start joining in with this graffiti.
Right.
And we're joining in with the graffiti, and because we're believing the other people that say that we're not good enough. And sooner, and this this what was this brilliant bright wall that was covered in all it's now covered in all these disgusting things about ourselves, and those are the beliefs that we have ourselves about, and we think those we think we are those thoughts, we are those beliefs which we've taken on board from other people.
We are those feelings because the beliefs actually create the feelings then, right?
Yes.
In the body, the sensations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The thoughts create the feelings. And we live in this world that is obsessed with trying to address the feelings, like I was, or trying to address the thoughts, like I was, rather than focusing on the brilliance, rather than seeing the brilliance and the innocence and the perfection of the white wall or the diamond. And that's so we get very caught up thinking that we're our feelings, trying to change our feelings, thinking that we're our thoughts, trying to change our thoughts, trying to change the voice in our head, affirmations, goal setting, all these things, rather than seeing the perfection of the innocence of the unconditioned
Sorry, go ahead.
And the unconditioned mind.
Yes, and I'm so happy that you went there, because one of the things that jumps out is that how are we going to know that we are that as children unless we have the modeling? And many people don't have modeling of that white wall or the diamond that they know that they are deep at their core. They just don't know that. They come from their own experiences. So we're absorbing from society also that doesn't remember, because it's a remembering, isn't it? That we are that somewhere inside we know at a very deep level that we're spirit.
Yeah, it's this is about seeing. This is about seeing it and remembering it. And it's a deep seeing. So the further you drop, the higher you bounce back, and the more clearly that you see this stuff.
Right.
So I've read about things like there's a lady called Anita Morjani who had a near-death experience. Have you come across her? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
beautiful woman. Yeah.
A beautiful woman, and her first book, Dying to Be Me,
yeah,
is seeing the perfection in herself and her connection with everybody else in the world after when she left the thoughts and the body behind, and she almost died.
Right, and that's extreme. And I've worked with people that have had near-death experiences too. One person comes very clearly to mind. I worked with him for years, and he's actually embodied his spirit. So he is first spirit. He knows it. I mean, it's an evolution, isn't it? It's an evolving process. The deeper we go into realizing who we are, the more we become that. We can't help but not become that. And these are the people, they are the guides. Like, we guide people through these situations, through these memories, through these painful feelings and thoughts, right? They don't need to snowball, because it starts like this and then it just keeps adding. It's like what we were talking about before we got on, was the snowball effect. Yeah. The longer you go on believing and feeling that way, the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
We've got to find a way to get a stick in that to stop it. It's like a stick in the wheel.
Yeah.
Stop. And regain the strength.
I'm not sure whether there's a stick in the wheel. For me, it's like bringing a industrial fan heater to the snow that we've created unwittingly, innocently. We were born innocent, and we were born innocent, and we remain innocent. We've just got these very hyperactive minds that are creating these snowballs of trauma.
Right.
And the snowballs. So we've molded them in our hands so that they're fitting between two palms, and then we put them on the floor and we've rolled them along the ground to make a bigger, like the base of a snowman or a snow woman, and they've got bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what the limiting belief is. So the bigger the belief, the more ingrained we are in that way of thinking. The more time, the more time we need to spend in the underneath the industrial heater that's going to melt. That's going to melt the snow, because the snow is just made of thought. It's not. We're making it a snowball to talk about something that isn't abstract.
Right, and I love
there's nothing
that process. Yeah, the process goes from the snow, from the freezing cold, right? It's in one element, and then it begins the process of evolving into another element, which is the water, right? And that is able to become, we're fluid then when we work on these beliefs and we stop them. And actually, I just want to mention something that's important here, is that we are not disregarding or minimizing trauma, not at all. We are sharing about what happens and how to stop that, so that you actually create the internal space to realize that you are actually something much deeper, much grander, bigger than you could ever imagine.
Yeah. So we're bringing light to the darkness, because we're not saying the darkness doesn't exist, because both of us have been in that darkness. But in the dark, we can't see clearly. So we're bringing the snowball of the trauma into the light. We're putting it underneath an industrial heater. We're melting the snow and it's becoming water. And as you say, it's more fluid. And then as we continue to focus the warmth of understanding and the light of understanding on the water evaporates.
Exactly.
And then it's gone, because it was never a thing anyway. We've just made it a thing. We're just talking about it as a thing between you and me, because the mind can't get hold of things that aren't real. So we're making it concrete. We're making something that doesn't exist concrete for the purposes of discussing it.
Yes.
But no, we're not denying it, because we've both been there. But we are saying that we aren't our trauma.
Right.
So people will say this trauma is a part of me. Well, it's not a part of the diamond.
It's what's covering the light. It's what's covering the facets of the diamond actually being able to sparkle, because we've got that whitewash, we've got all that stuff on top, like the graffiti on the white wall, right? We've covered the diamond of who we are in our core. So that's the process. Would you say, Simon, what you've gone through is a process?
The process is
transformation.
A process of transformation, and with some very big moments of transformation, but 11, 12 years of putting the snowball, bringing the snowball out and putting it under the light of consciousness, and continuing to do it. I mean, we're doing it now. I'm getting a deeper understanding. I'm seeing I'm seeing the diamond more clearly, the diamond that we all truly are, more clearly, just by virtue of being in this conversation with you, Daniel. So it's a never-ending process where we see it just more and more clearly, and we remember quicker and quicker.
And would you say, last question, Simon, before we close, would you say that it's contagious when you know that you are a being of light, when you are spirit, when you know that and you treat other people as spirit first. What do you notice happens?
We're just a lot nicer to other people.
Right. And so there's an absence of judgment, right? There's no judgment. There's like this camaraderie. There's like, we're in this together, and there's no judgment. There's no competition.
That's not to say that I feel like that all the time. You know, I've just been swimming, right? And somebody cut me up in the swimming lane. Right? I'm thinking, what are you doing cutting me up? You know, I don't live my life like this all the time. I'm not some sort of Zen master that doesn't fall for the thoughts in my head. It's just, I'm just generally a bit kinder on myself and a bit kinder on other people.
To others. Right. And that's where the magic is. If you're kinder internally, then you're going to exude that wherever you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow, Simon, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see everybody next week.